discuss about deep learning. So main difference between like simple neural network and deep learning is like we have seen a neural network where we have input layers here, and let's say like you have few input layers, and then like finally like you have an output layer, right? So let's say this is the your input layer, and this is your hidden layer, and this is your output layer. Okay, so this is what we have seen in a simple neural network. And like for this, like what we can do is we can add more layers to this, right? So let's have the same input layer, and to this input layer, instead of a single layer, we can have multiple hidden layers. Okay, so I can keep so many as I want. Okay, and then finally I'll give an output. So these are like so many hidden layers, and this is your input layer, and this is your output layer. So in case if you have like start increasing your input layer, like hidden layers, so we call this like we are making the network more deeper. Okay, so because like like the width between your input and output is increasing, like we are making it more deep here. So we call this kind of networks as deep neural networks. Okay, it is nothing different, like it's just the same, just that instead of a single like what you say like single hidden layer, if you add like more hidden layers, what will happen is your network will go deeper. So we call that as a deep neural network. Okay, there is nothing else. And like how the techniques what we use in case of training these kind of models, because these models will be comparatively very huge compared to like a simpler neural network, right? So in this case, like we call this like alternative word to this deep is like shallow neural network. Okay, so this case, like what we do is like this is one case. Okay, so there is a main difference is like here the number of weights will be very less, but if you take the other case, if you take the other case, the number of weights will be like so huge, right? So even we have seen in one of the sessions, like implementation session. So there for a single dense layer, we had some like because our network input layer is huge, like still we had some like near to around 1 lakh weights rates to train. Similarly, if you go for deeper network, it may go for like 10 lakhs or like crore as well, like mean like million or 10 million as well. Okay, so it can go to till that level, because like we can have like so many as you want. But there are like very there are like few challenges in case if you are going more deeper. Okay, so one of them is like because like you are increasing more weights, we have seen like in even in classical machine learning, as you start increasing your weight, complexity of your network. See, like here the complexity is very low, right? Like compared to this. So if you increase your complexity beyond a certain point, it will start overfitting, right? So that is one bigger issue. Other than that, like deeper neural networks will have one other issue. So let me discuss about that. So problems while training deep neural deep networks. Okay, it need not like it's simpler term is like neural networks. Like anyway, everything now what we discuss are the neural networks. Okay, so what it will be is, if you see if you go to slightly one of them is we call it like gradient diminishing problem. Okay, so what this is so while let's see like what we used to have like during our like we know like we will use gradient descent for calculation of loss and for updation of weights, right? So let's say W equal to W volt minus alpha d error by dw, right? So similarly for all the w's what we have the similar way. So but what we have is, so we will have an activation function for here, right? So let's see if we have a sigmoid or some let's have this input layer, and then one more layer, one more layer, okay, and this one, okay. So from what will happen, like how we will calculate losses. So we have like discussed about this, like we will do a back propagation, right? So this way, like first we'll calculate loss like of these weights, like depending on this, and this will be depending on this will be depending on this, okay. So this is how we will actually calculate the loss functions. So but while calculating this, we also so this is a kind of a derivative, right? So derivative of here, so there are like what we have, like we have a huge term like over there, like I think we have discussed during our last session. So in that, like we'll also do a derivative for a value here, okay. So what you do is, like you have a value w1, okay, that you will manipulate here and also do a derivative at this level, and you also do it. Let me jump quickly to that as a derivation and then see like what we have, okay. So if you see here, this f dash is our activation function, so derivative of activation function. And you can see, like for derivating like the third one, like for like calculating derivative of second weight, we are multiplying it with w3, as well as we are also derivating with taking a derivative of activation function here. And similarly here as well again, right? So for this, like we are again multiplying the w2 and we are taking a derivative, one more derivative, right? So actually what is happening is, so here we are multiplying two derivatives one after the other. So but we remember, what we remember is like every layer, okay. So let's say layer 1, layer 2, layer 3, layer 4. So while we are doing, like we know that like we are multiplying each and everything, right? But most of the weights will stay between like 0 to 1, right? And your activation function derivative is also there, f dash of x is also there, okay. So and this value, what will happen is, this will also stay smaller value, because like if you see the activation function value, it is minor value, right? So it is like mostly if you take sigmoid, what sigmoid will have is, take a case of sigmoid. So in case of sigmoid, your final value will be between 0 to 1, okay. So by changing means, like let's say point, let's take a bigger one, okay. So we'll not take the worst case, like let's take some better case. So okay, this is 0.9, and what we do is, like we take a derivative for this one, right, for change in this value. So let's say then from 8 it became 0.8, okay, or maybe 1, or 0.09585, let's take this one. Then what is the change? It is 0.05. This is a difference, right? So that is your derivative here, in taking approximate derivative here. So derivative is nothing but change in your value for change in your w, right? So let's take this way, okay. So what has happened, this is your derivative, and this you are multiplying for different values, okay. So this is, let's say this is at layer 1, so layer 4. And now while calculating again for layer 3, what you have to do is, you have to multiply w4, you have to multiply, and you have to do this w f dash of this one at layer 4, and you also have to calculate derivative here, right? So what you have is 0.05 into again this one derivative. This one derivative again will be somewhere in that order. So it will be 0.005. Okay. And if you go further, it will be like 0.000000005. And similarly, you will getting like what you are getting is this value. So what we have here, like at layer one is like you have like almost like zeros, right? So even here as well, like it will be almost zero. Like you may get like 0.0000005. So right. So what is happening here is, and this is a value which we are multiplying to our actual value over there. So if you go here, so this is just one value. To it again we are multiplying few other terms. Okay, so that will actually even further diminish your value. So this kind of what is happening is like your derivative is almost zero, right? So if your derivative, if you are having 4 layers, it is like this, but actually you will have like 10, 20 layers. So in that case, it will be even further, like it won't change at all. So what will happen? Your weight minus alpha d e by dw, this value, if it is always zero, so what it will change? It will never change, right? So your nu equal to w volt. So even though you get loss and all, like it won't get updated. Main reason is because of this, like because we are getting very low value for like derivative of your activation function. This is one issue like which you'll face while using sigmoid for like taking a for a deep neural network. Okay, so what is the remedy of it? Okay, because like we have this sigmoid and like right, so we use it, like we know that it is very useful activation function, and activation function is also necessary. Even though like this is there. Okay, so what else can we think of, like what else can be improved by doing this? Is main challenge what we faced is this one, right? So your activation function derivative is, if it is less than 1, so even though like let's say it's not like 0.05, even though if it is 0.99 as well. Okay, so what will happen is let's see this, 0.99 into 0.99, this will be again like something in point 0.8 something. So if again like 0.88 into 0.9, it will again go to 0.7, so 0.6, so on. It, like if it is 10 layers, again it will come to zero point 0.1, so 0.0001, something like this. Again it will start going down. So even though if it is like somewhere nearer to 1, so still it is an issue. Like it doesn't matter if it is like 0.005, then no chance at all. But even though if it is like just slightly less than 1, still will be like that will get deteriorated, like your value will get very low and your gradient will diminish. Okay, so because your gradient is actually diminishing towards 0, so this is called as a gradient diminishing problem. Okay, so this problem, how can we tackle this problem is, so there is some like this issue comes because your derivative of activation function is like less than 1. Okay, very much less than 1, then this issue comes. So what we can have is, we can try an alternate activation functions which doesn't have this problem. So for that reason, what we use is ReLU. So what ReLU will do is, so what ReLU will the definition of ReLU itself is x when x greater than 1, so greater than 0, and 0 if x less than or equal to 0. Okay, so this is a function. Okay, so for this function, what we can do is, like if you do a derivative, okay, what will happen? It is 1, right? If it is greater than 0, your difference is like you are passing the same value, so then your derivative on x greater than 0 is 1. Okay, so what we'll have, so even though if you have like multiple layers like this, okay, so L1, L2, L3, L4, here you are derivating like you have a differentiation of f dash x into this one. Let's say this is 4, right? This is 4, this is 4 and 3, f of x into f dash 2 of x, here 4 of x, 3 of x into f2 of x into f dash of x. So if it is just 4 layers, we'll have these 4. So even though like because your derivative is 1, this will be 1, this will be 1. So always your product here is 1, right? So only it will depend on the other terms. So if you jump back to the formula here, so this f dash x doesn't have any impact. Okay, so this f dash x doesn't have any impact. It's only based on your other values. Okay, so these are the values, like f dash x doesn't have any impact. So it's only based on the other values, like your like gradient will be depending on. Okay, so by this case we are actually eradicating the problem of gradient diminishing. So let's use a solves gradient diminishing problem. Okay, so this is cool, right? Like, so actually, even though like you had 100 networks, now this gradient diminishing problem wouldn't come. Okay, so this is like really very important technique, like to use, like using an activation function like as a ReLU, so which will actually solve this gradient diminishing problem, which was of a concern like for many people for many years actually. So this is one case. So let's see, even are there any drawbacks with a ReLU? So if you see ReLU, what we could see is like when it is less than 0, it is completely 0, right? Now it is like what it has is like let's say you have activation function here, it is -1, 2, 3, and for each of them you have an activation function. Okay, so let's say these are having some outputs from some other layers. Okay, you have an activation function here. So and this is completely, it will return you 0, it will return you 2, it will return you 3 in case of a ReLU. But what actually happens is, so we are losing all the computation what is happening till here, right? So maybe it may be a slightly, at least like to a certain extent it may be important. Okay, that may happen. So but what is happening is this ReLU is completely making it 0. Okay, but when taking a case of sigmoid, what it is actually doing is something like this. Okay, so if it is like 0, if it is less than 0, it will give you like probability within like 0.5. So if it is greater than 0, it will give you some probability within like 1 to 0.5. Okay, so here it's not losing any data, but here we are losing all the data which was negative in negative terms, right? So to solve this issue, again this ReLU has been improved slightly. What we have is a leaky ReLU. So what this leaky ReLU will do is, so it will be like this. So okay, when it is this is how ReLU is, right? So ReLU, if you plot this, when x is greater than 0, this is x, this is f of x is greater than 0, it is x, and x is less than 0, it is 0. So this is your graph. Okay, so now it is same, like because we had this problem only during x is less than 0, right? So we are not touching x is greater than 0 because we have no problems with that. And here, instead of 0, what we do is we pass a slight leaky here. Instead of making it 0, we passes small values here. So that's why we call it leaky ReLU. So it means it will leak some data over there. So and what this is like your value here will be like 0.01 into x. So if you put this, it will be almost like less, like it is almost closer to 0, but it will pass some value, at least like some information from your data. It means like when it is 0, right? So take the same one. So yours is ReLU. Okay, instead of 0 here 2. Okay, you are having ReLU function here, and similarly 3, you are having ReLU function activation here. So here we are getting 2 and 3. Here instead of -1, previously it was 0, right? So instead of 0, it will pass 0.01. Okay, or 0.1. So it will pass this. So in this case, we are not actually losing any data. We are getting some data, but what we are doing is we are suppressing most of the values over here, right? So even taking this, if you take your derivative, it will be like alpha, right? Like okay, it is there, but slightly it will diminish, but because like you have 0.01, but again it depends on your x value. No, it will not depend like on negative values, it is like alpha, but still we are getting something instead of like having nothing, right? But because like if it is a positive, it is x, like then there is no issue. If it is negative, it will give a slight value, right? Okay, so that is how we finally uh, actually like solve the problem. Like one problem for ReLU, we are solving a gradient diminution problem, and second, like because it has solved one problem and introduced like one more problem of like taking, not considering any negative values into account, so that again we solved it by using leaky ReLU. Okay, so and similarly like this there are like few other concepts called LU, like few other variants of ReLU you can say. So which will actually be something like f of x equal to, this is exponential linear unit, I think. So this ReLU is I don't remember, I think it is, I have to check, like I don't remember exactly. So LU is I think exponential when f of x equal to x if e power x if x greater than 0, and equal to 0 again you can take same alpha x as well, alpha e power x if x less than or equal to 0. So there are like few variations which happened here, like because this what it will do, it will uh, even your derivative is e power x, right? So your value will be like more than 2.3 something. So what it does is like it will anyway like greater than 1, and to it like again, so it is increasing, boosting the gradient as well, like slightly. So there are like, this is again a kind of experiment, like you can use your own value, like I can just simply take one more activation function and say that x square plus 2x plus 10, something like this. I can give anything, right? You, it is your wish. And for negative, I can give, still give like some other value. And only thing is like it should, a gradient should not get diminished. So that is one main thing. Okay, and these conditions are your own wish. But what usually like it's people use in research papers are leaky ReLU, and these days like some people are using this LU. Okay, so this is how it is done. So these are like few activation function. Apart from this, there are like something like tan h, where again this problem is not solved. So like which I think I should have discussed like along with sigmoid. It is similar to sigmoid function again. Like one more is like tan h function, where f of x, you know, like what is a tan, f of x will be tan h of x. So tan h of x is e power x plus e, sorry, it will be minus for e power x minus e power minus x by e power x plus e power minus x. So this is your tan h function. So this, even though you take a derivative for this, it will be similar to sigmoid, right? If you take minus x by, instead of minus x, if you put 1 minus x, so still actually what happens is this tan h will again give you values between like 0 to 1. Is it? I'm not sure about this. Like I think it should be between 0 to 1 maybe. Also, even if it, I think it is that like that. I don't remember. Let me check just a moment. So what tan h will have is like because you can here when x is 0, it is 0, right? So but the graph of tan h function will be something like this. It is similar to how the shape is similar to how sigmoid is, but it will go till minus 1 to 1. Previously it has gone till like 1 0 to 1. Now it will go till minus 1 to 1. That is the only difference. Rest of the probabilities will remain same. So because you can see here it is not varying much, right? So at this level, so because it is getting saturated, so these saturating points are actually the cause for gradient descent. Okay, because gradient diminishing. So because like if you take derivative at this levels, so it is almost zeros, right? So even here what is happening is not the real sigmoid. If you take the sigmoid function, so sigmoid function is something like this. So okay, so here it is getting saturated. So here almost flat, when it is almost flat, your derivatives will be all zero, right? Near to zero. So similarly, but if you take ReLU, it's not flat, it's not saturating, it's going in a linear manner here, right? So the derivative won't be zero. Similarly, if you take leaky ReLU as well, so in both cases, like it's not saturating at all, so derivative is not zero. But if you take this case, like tan H case, there it is saturating, going almost like flat. So that is where this issue comes. Okay, so one thing you have to take in mind before while designing your own activation function is you have to like make your design your function such that these doesn't saturate. Okay, like maybe anywhere, it need not be in the ends, it can be here as well, like it should not saturate. Here it is fine. Actually this portion of your values are very fine. Okay, so there is one more case, like in case if you want to operate only in tan H and sigmoid, if you restrict your data within this, okay, and these your weights in within this range, then there is no issue. But always you can't do that, right? So actually if you clip your values, means say that if it is, let's say this value is some 0.6, okay, and this value is 0.4. So if you want to restrict between 0.4 to 0.6, it means like whatever value you give, like if you take, if it is less than that, means like zero point 0.1 or maybe -1 or something, so you restrict it with like saying that it is like zero point 0.4, and if it is like greater than these values, you restrict it with zero point 0.6. So then you can actually have a linear value, and then in this linear region you will have a derivative which is uh, like not like less than 1. Okay, so but what it will happen is, so actually this you can't do always, like this is one more scenario like which you can use it anyway, like okay, then this is a possibility which you can do. But there are simpler implementation like ReLU or these kind of activation functions which will do all your like these kind of things by itself, and it doesn't manipulate any data like how we are trying to do here. So okay, like restricting your data only between these points, something like that. So it doesn't do such kind of thing. So these are much more useful than using sigmoid or tan H by restricting them. Okay, so these are a few activation functions which we'll use for tan, like for deep learning methods. Okay, so that's it for activation functions.